We often think about, getting it, like climbing a ladder,
Yeah.
right? Study, get the degree, you're set. But what if it's more like a climbing wall now,
Hmm.
constantly changing holds, new writs popping up?
That's a great way to put it. It really captures the dynamic we're seeing. And our map for this exploration is the 2025 ETS Human Progress Report. It's this huge global survey, 18,000 people, 18 countries. Gives us a real snapshot of how people feel about education and work right now.
18,000 people. Wow, okay. That's definitely a solid base. So, if the old ladder's gone, what's the new shape of progress according to this report? What do we need for this climbing wall?
Well, the report really points to adaptability, resilience, and real collaboration. They call them power skills.
Hmm.
And the data suggests they're not just good to have anymore. They're, well, essential, really critical for anyone wanting to thrive today.
Power skills. I like that term. It gives them weight. And overall, are things looking up? Is progress happening?
Yeah, interestingly, yes. The Human Progress Index, that's their measure for education access, career growth, skill development. It's actually up globally this year. So there's definitely some positive momentum in those key areas.
That's good to hear. Definitely encouraging. But you mentioned before it's maybe uneven, not the same everywhere.
Exactly, and that's really important, crucial nuance. So our goal today in this deep dive is to really unpack these findings, to understand what they mean for you as you figure out your own learning and career path.
Okay, let's dig in. A big shift seems to be how skills are recognized, this idea of evidential currency. What exactly is that?
Right, so the report highlights this major trend. By 2030, over 6 in 10 people globally expect verified resumes and these digital skill wallets to be, well, the norm. This evidential currency is basically those formal credentials, real-time assessments, tangible proof of what you can do, and employers are increasingly looking for it.
So just listing communication on a resume isn't enough anymore. You need like a badge or something verified.
That's the direction things are heading, yes. And this connects to something else. As the report found this fear of being obsolete, FOBO, they call it. What's really striking is how much this hits Gen Z. 65% of them worry about staying relevant, especially with AI and automation coming on so strong.
65%. Wow, that's a huge number. It really shows the pressure, doesn't it? But it also sounds like people see the upside of proving their skills.
Oh, absolutely. A huge majority, 86%, believe that getting their skills certified actually leads to better jobs, maybe better pay, a better career path overall. So there's a strong understanding that this demonstrable proof is really key now.
And what kind of skills are we talking about? Is it all just tech, coding, that sort of thing?
Not at all, actually. The report talks about dual skills.
Yeah.
So yes, technical skills like AI literacy are crucial, but just as important are those durable human skills we mentioned, problem solving, creativity, communication. It's the mix that's really valuable.
Right. So it's not just can you use the AI tool, but can you explain why and how it helps, maybe to someone who isn't technical?
Precisely. And the data shows people are getting proactive. Over 80% are thinking about future-proofing their careers. More than half are actively learning new skills right now.
There's a real drive there, and it was interesting. Perseverance was listed as a top skill, too.
Yeah, that is telling, isn't it? Perseverance, just that grit, that drive to keep learning, keep adapting when things get tough. It's clearly seen as vital for navigating all this change. Suggests the willingness to learn is almost as important as what you already know.
Okay, so evidential currency is on the rise. But you mentioned progress isn't uniform, barriers are decreasing, but unevenly. Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Sure, that rise in the Human Progress Index we talked about, part of that is better access to education like,
Mm.
better teachers, more learning tailored to individuals.
Mhm.
We're also seeing some positive movement in upward mobility, so more chances for people to get ahead economically and socially, partly through education and networks.
Okay, that sounds positive. Steps towards fairness.
It is. And getting access to affordable ways to upskill or reskill has also gotten a bit easier. Costs are down sometimes, employers are offering more support, makes lifelong learning more practical.
But there's a disconnect somewhere between how valuable these skills credentials are seen and maybe the systems around them.
Yeah, that's the rub. While employers and employees mostly agree these credentials matter, the broader systems like education policy, government recognition, they haven't always kept pace. There's a lag.
And which specific skills are really surging in demand? What should people be focusing on?
Looking ahead to 2030, the report sees big growth in demand for skills around human-computer interaction, creative thinking, data analysis, and also external communication. Those are hot areas.
Okay. But there was a worrying point in there too about basic information skills.
Yes, and it's a really critical point. A significant chunk of adults and even 15-year-olds in OECD countries lack baseline proficiency in just like processing information effectively.
Yeah.
And nearly half haven't learned how to spot biased information. That's a fundamental gap that could really hold people back, regardless of credentials.
That's a huge barrier if you can't even process the information needed to upskill. Okay, but despite that, there's optimism. People feel positive about education and skills.
Yeah, globally, there's a pretty strong sense of optimism. Around 65% feel positive about upskilling and higher ed opportunities in the next decade. It's particularly strong in growing economies, probably because the job market's more competitive there, so people see the need more clearly.
Makes sense. Competition drives the need to stand out, and AI's role in this, how's that shaping things?
Well, McKinsey's projecting, significant job automation from AI soon, but counterintuitively, perhaps, that's also boosting demand for AI skills. The report mentions like a 33% projected jump in demand for AI-related skills in several countries.
So AI takes some jobs, but creates others that need different skills. A shift, not just a loss.
Exactly. And people are responding. We see more people getting skills credentials, 67% overall, even higher, 72% for Gen Z. Plus, there's this massive agreement, like 88%, that you just have to keep learning throughout your career now. It's essential.
And companies are changing how they hire or develop talent, too.
Yes, definitely. There's a noticeable trend where companies are choosing to retrain their current employees more rather than just hiring externally. It suggests they see value
Yeah.
and maybe efficiency in investing in the people they already have.
But the report doesn't shy away from the fact that inequalities still exist, right?
Absolutely not. It's clear that disparities based on gender, where you live, disability, there's still very real challenges for career advancement. It just highlights that skills are crucial, but we also need to tackle those deeper systemic barriers for things to be truly fair.
So, how do these credentials, plus that perseverance factor, help address those inequalities and boost growth for everyone?
Well, the report really hammers this home. Getting those credentials, having that perseverance, they are vital for moving up professionally. That 88% agreement on lifelong learning backs this up.
And can credentials actually help level the playing field, maybe for disadvantaged groups?
The signs point to yes, they have that potential. By giving concrete, objective evidence of skills, they can help cut through potential bias. They offer a different way to assess someone's capability beyond just traditional routes.
Which leads us to skills-based hiring. How is that different and why is it catching on?
So traditional hiring often leans heavily on degrees, right? Skills-based hiring flips that. It looks first at the actual skills and competencies someone has, maybe less at where they learned them. It's gaining traction because, well, it helps tackle labor shortages, addresses the need for reskilling, and generally gives people more hope for career growth by opening up the talent pool.
And it sounds like the demand for both those specialized tech skills like AI and the durable human skills is really driving this shift.
Precisely. AI literacy is a perfect example of a hot technical skill. But using it well often depends on creativity, communication, those enduring skills. They work together.
Okay, let's circle back to evidential currency. How does it work in practice in this skills-first economy? What's the benefit for individuals?
Well, it directly helps people show what they can do in a competitive market. It's that solid proof of skills we talked about. It can potentially break down barriers that might have existed if you only looked at, say, a traditional degree. It's verifiable competence. That's what employers increasingly want.
And those improvements in the Human Progress Index, better education access, mobility, upskilling, how does that connect?
That progress reflects this growing emphasis on valuing actual skills. It's part of the positive impact. The report even points to specific countries making big strides, like Vietnam, the US, Canada, UK, Japan.
Interesting mix of countries there. And that huge agreement, 88% on needing to learn continuously, it just shows how deeply this idea has sunk in globally.
Absolutely. And the fact that 82% are actively thinking about future-proofing their careers, that shows a really proactive workforce. People aren't just waiting, they're trying to stay ahead.
And that FOBO, the fear of being obsolete, it seems people are fighting back against that anxiety by actively seeking these credentials.
Exactly. The worry is real, but the response is often action. And again, perseverance being a top reported skill just underlines that willingness to adapt, to put in the work.
And it's not just the high-tech stuff, right? Those broader skills are still key.
Definitely. The workplace needs that blend. Technical skills, sure, AI literacy is huge, but also creativity, problem solving, communication. Those durable skills are crucial. And you see strong interest, over 60% in many cases, in getting credentials for these top skills. People know where they need to focus.
And it's really encouraging that these credentials might help lower barriers for people who've faced more obstacles historically.
Yeah, the report's quite clear on that potential. It suggests evidential currency can make a real difference for women, people in rural areas, people with disabilities, by offering that objective validation.
Okay, now this idea that skills credentials could be on par with university degrees by 2035, that's a bold prediction. 80% agreement.
It is bold, but that 80% agreement globally shows it's a serious possibility people foresee. Even HR folks in the U.S. are starting to question relying only on degrees. They see talent being missed. They view these credentials as like a vital bridge between education and what the job actually needs.
That's a massive shift in thinking, and employees themselves, they want personalized skill
Or
assessing.
strongly. When looking at jobs, 86% value getting personalized assessments, and 85% want real-time feedback on their skills. They want to know where they stand, where to improve, see a clear path.
And they also want some kind of benchmark to see how they compare.
Yes, 74% are interested in skill benchmarking. Like, how do my skills stack up against others in my field? It's about understanding your place in the market.
Like knowing your ranking in a game almost. And assessments based on real tasks are seen as more accurate.
Exactly. 68% think skill development should be tied to assessments that mimic the real world. What can you actually do based on all your experiences, not just theory?
And micro-credentials fit into this well, as focus proof.
Absolutely. 82% agree these smaller, targeted credentials will be increasingly valuable for highlighting specific skills. And there's huge interest, 78%, in digital skills wallets, a secure place to keep and share all this verified proof.
A digital proof portfolio. Makes total sense. Okay, let's talk AI. Its impact on careers sounds huge, according to the report.
Yeah, AI is a massive disruptor here. It's changing the skills needed, yes, but it's also enabling new ways to learn, like real-time coaching personalized for you.
And lots of people are already using AI to learn.
6 out of 10 report already using AI tools for learning new skills, and it's even higher for younger folks. They're jumping right in.
Like having a personal AI tutor. But there's maybe a gap in perception between managers and employees on AI skills.
That's a really interesting point in the report. There's a 12-point gap. Managers think 55% of their staff are AI literate, but employees self-report at only 43%. That difference really highlights the need for, well, more objective measures.
And employers want that, standardized ways to measure AI skills.
They do. 70% are interested in standardized, reliable ways to measure digital and AI literacy. It helps bridge that gap and gives a clear picture of workforce readiness.
And AI coaches. That sounds pretty futuristic, but people are open to it.
Very open.
Yeah.
70% of employees say they trust an AI coach to help figure out what skills they need to advance. Millennials are even more keen. And interestingly, even a lot of blue-collar workers, 53%, are enthusiastic about AI coaching. They see it as a potential tool for growth.
So AI isn't just taking tasks, it could actually help democratize career guidance too. Fascinating. Okay, let's get deeper into skills-based hiring and how it opens doors. The report sounds optimistic.
Yeah, the potential upsides are big.
Yeah.
That 86% number, again, people believing certified skills improve their job chances and career path. That feeling of better mobility, wider access, that's really driving support for this skills-first approach.
And there's a feeling it could make things fairer. Pay systems, hiring.
That definitely comes through. 71% think skills assessments would make hiring fairer. And even more, 82%, think pay tied more directly to skills would be fairer too. It reflects this desire for a system where what you can do is really valued and rewarded.
And on a personal level, how does getting skills recognized affect people? Motivation, options.
The report shows it boosts personal motivation, definitely. It opens up perceived career options, improves financial stability. Especially true in middle-income countries. When skills get valued like degrees, maybe even more, people are more motivated to learn, they see more paths open, and feel more financially secure.
And maybe, just maybe, it could even ease the student debt issue down the line.
That's a potential ripple effect some people see. About 37% think if skills credentials gain more currency, the intense focus on expensive degrees might lessen, maybe reducing debt.
So, to make this skills-based future a reality, collaboration seems key. What kind of partnerships are needed?
Absolutely critical. The report stresses partnerships between education schools, universities, employers, and government agencies. They need to work together to build these credentialing systems. And there's already decent trust in universities and testing organizations to provide credible certifications, which is a good starting point.
And what are the concrete recommendations? How do we actually implement this evidential currency idea?
The report lays out several key actions, things like setting national standards for credentials so they're portable and recognized everywhere, really encouraging academia and industry to partner up so education actually matches workforce needs, and facilitating central platforms, like those digital wallets, to manage credentials easily.
Okay. Standards, partnerships, platforms, make sense.
Uh-huh.
What else?
Investing in AI tools for better skill development and credentialing is another big one. Using AI for personalized guidance. Also, crucially, supporting clear pathways for people from marginalized groups to ensure this is equitable. Promoting skills-based hiring in government jobs to lead by example. And finally, public awareness campaigns, making sure everyone understands evidential currency, plus using data to track what skills are actually needed in the market.
It's a big picture. It requires a lot of different players moving together.
Exactly. It's about building a whole ecosystem that values competence wherever and however it was acquired.
Well, this has been a really fascinating deep dive into the 2025 ETS Human Progress Report. It's clear this shift towards evidential currency is pretty transformative. Big implications for careers, for society.
Absolutely. Verified skills really empower individuals. They can help break down old barriers, create a more level playing field, a more dynamic workforce overall. And AI, plus how our academic institutions adapt, they're huge parts of this story too.
It really does feel like we're moving towards a future where proof of ability is the real currency. So, as we wrap up, here's something for you, our listener, to think about. In this changing world, how can you start embracing evidential currency? What skills do you have right now? And what credentials, what proof could help you unlock your next opportunity? Worth considering.
And if you want to read more, the full 2025 ETS Human Progress Report is available. Just head over to ets.org. You can learn more about evidential currency and all the work ETS is doing in this really important area.